everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Claire. I'm so glad you could be here. Today we're recapping what I read in June. Okay, so I had a pretty good reading month. I read some really great stuff. It's not as big as it was last month. I just read a little less, but I have some really great stuff. So, first of all, the first book that I read, which I talked about on my channel before, but I just want to touch on briefly, I read The Dragon Reborn, which is the third Wheel of Time book. I really enjoyed this one. I believe I gave this 4 stars on my Goodreads. This is my favorite of the series so far. I liked this a lot more than 2, and I even liked it more than the first one. And yeah, it just got me super pumped to continue on in this series. There's a lot of development, the characters are really well done, the action is really great, as is in all the other books. But this one I think just had less pacing problems, and it had better development, so this really pushed it ahead for me. Now I'm pushing through book 4, so super excited to continue with that series. But that's the first one. I read The Dragon Reborn by Robert Jordan. Okay, so the next books that I read, I'm going to be counting 3 here, is a holdover from last month's review, and I didn't talk about it then because I wanted to talk about it now, but I finally finished, or caught up I should say, the full Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. So this month I read volumes 2, 3, and 4. I don't have physical copies with me. I read it online on my phone on my Libby app, so I'll put a picture up here. These graphic novels were really amazing. If you're not familiar with the story, they basically track the story of these 2 boys in high school, or the British equivalent. Charlie, who is an openly gay boy at his school, he's really into band and all this kind of stuff, and then the other character is Nick, who's a rugby player at the same all-boys school. He's a bit of, they refer to him and his friends in the book as like the lads, so he's kind of that character, but it tracks how they become friends, how they develop feelings for each other, and how their relationship progresses, both between each other, but with their friends, with their family, their schools, all sorts of stuff. This book, these graphic novels really handle a lot of topics on like identity, expression, sexuality, as well as things like self-image and mental health. So yeah, if you're interested in those topics, this is a great book. What I like so much about this series, which I think I briefly talked about actually in my mid-year wrap-up video, is that even though they're written about teenagers and for teenagers, me reading them, someone who's a bit older, I'm in my early to mid-20s, it didn't feel like it was condescending or speaking down towards teenagers, and at the same time it didn't feel like it was coddling them. It was just really authentic, genuine, and real, and I feel like it really handled the topics that it deals with, which can be pretty heavy in some points, with just a lot of grace and truth to them. And for me reading them, I didn't feel like I was reading outside of my age group. It just felt like all those emotions were so relatable to me and written in a way where I was like, yeah, I recognize these characters and I recognize what's going on in this book. So I really appreciated it. I thought they were really great. The art style is fabulous. It really meshes well with the story and the characters, and yeah, I think that's such a big thing when the art just really matches the sense that you get from the book, and that they're so well combined together. So overall, I think the story, counting all 4 volumes, is probably 4.5 stars. So really wonderful. So that's Heartstopper by Alice Oseman, and that's volumes 1 through 4. And I'm super excited for whenever I can get my hands on some next volumes, and probably some of her other books too, because I know she's dealt with these characters in other books. So yeah, really excited about that. Great, so the final book that I read this month, I finished right in the nick of time on the very last day. I think it bled a little bit into the 1st of July, but I'm counting it for June. I read We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, which is a young adult teen book as well, which was surprising. I guess I just read a lot of teen stuff this month, but that's something new for me. This book was pretty great. I want to do a more in-depth review on that, so be looking out on my channel. Probably my next video will be that, but I'll touch on it briefly here. I thought this book was pretty good. So basically the premise for this book is one girl, Cadence, it belongs to a really rich, affluential American family, and it basically centers around their summer homes, which is all on one private island. So the island is owned by her grandfather, who's kind of the patriarch of the family. He has a lot of the money, so he has his summer house on the island, and then he had 3 daughters, and they each have a house on the island, and then all the cousins and the boyfriends and the husbands, they all come as well. So essentially it centers around Cadence and then 3 other kids in that family who are the similar age to her. So her 2 cousins, Johnny and Mirren, and then Johnny's stepdad's nephew, Gat. So he's not part of the family, but he's really close to these friends, and he spends his summers up there with them. So it basically traces Cadence as she's recovering from a pretty severe brain injury, and she returns to the island, and as she's beginning to try and figure out and heal from this injury, she's trying to piece together exactly what happened and what's going on the island since. So this book was really well written. I love the themes personally of waning empire. I talk about this all the time on this channel. Waning empire, waning power, the kind of setting sun of rich and powerful people, and that's what this book deals with a lot. There's a lot of family politics in terms of who gets to inherit the money, who gets to own the houses, what are they going to do when the power's gone, and things like that. So there was a lot of that kind of stuff. However, where this book fell a little flat for me was in the second half. I just didn't love where the direction that this book took. I would have kind of liked it to stay in that kind of family politics region and not take the turn it took. I don't want to give too much away because I didn't not like it. I just wished it had gone a different direction towards the end. So that being said, I thought it was really interesting. I loved the themes. I think overall the characters were pretty well written, and yeah, I think I gave this overall a 3.5 on Goodreads. Well, you can't give halves, but in my heart of hearts, I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. So yeah, that's We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. Well, that's it. That's the whole month of reading. Of course, I didn't get to maybe as much as I did last month, but my New Year's resolution this year, my monthly goal is 3 books a month. So I surpassed that, and I'm happy with that. I also read about 3/4 of the next Wheel of Time book, The Shadow Rising. I read bits and pieces of some other books as well, so I feel like it was a really great month. Let me know what you've read this month. Let me know what you've loved or you didn't love, and any of your thoughts on the books that I just mentioned here. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. I upload every Tuesday and Saturday, and if you like this video or the content I'm making, leave a like, leave a comment as I just said, and subscribe to help me along on my journey and join me on this kind of crazy little adventure. So have a great afternoon, everybody, or evening or morning or wherever you are. And I will see you later. Bye.